So welcome. Get comfortable on your seat in Sukhasana, easy pose. As you can see, I'm very cozy today. It's dark, windy, wet outside, so I'm getting extra cozy. Our practice today is continuing with the element of earth. And we've been practicing a series connected to the meridians based on traditional Chinese medicine, on Tao theory, balance theory, and we're now working with the element of earth. The earth element is connected to late summer and early autumn, but it is also a practice and an element that we become grounded and centered within at the turn of each season. So in between each turn of the season, we reconnect, reground, recenter with the earth element before we enter the next season. So according to Taoist theory, this is one of the practices that we practice regularly throughout the year. It's very special this weekend. As we know, it's the first day of November, so we've just started Samhain yesterday. The festival of Samhain, Celtic tradition, started yesterday. Again, a turning point of the year. So this practice very much inspires us. We've also gone through a full moon in Taurus, so again connected to the element of earth. So real serendipity for us to be practicing with this element today. Let's bring our ring and thumb to touch in the earth element mudra prithvi. Palms can be face up or face down. Closing your eyes, connecting with your breath here. The practice of yin is a practice in which we come to stillness. And through that stillness, we are able to soften, surrender. It helps to clear the pathways along the meridians for our chi, vital energy, to flow smoothly, helping to balance the elements, helping to balance the flow of energy within our bodies. As we observe this present moment awareness, begin to notice how you feel supported by Mother Earth below you, connecting with the sense of groundedness through your sit bones. Feeling supported by the stable foundation of the earth below you, holding you. Begin to deepen and lengthen your breath. Breathing in, I know I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. Breathing in, I connect with the earth. Breathing out, I show gratitude to the earth. Breathing in, I arrive in this present moment. Breathing out, I let go of that which no longer serves. Breathing in, I invite stability, groundedness. Breathing out, I release anxiety, worry. Breathing in, I welcome clarity and understanding. Breathing out, I release clinginess, neediness. Breathing in, I find space. Breathing out, I find connection. One more full breath in, full breath out. Bring your hands together at your heart center in Namaskar, opening our practice by chanting Om 3 times. Inhale fully. Om. Inhale. Om. Inhale. Om. Namaste. And welcome to our practice, our grounding, rooting practice that connects us with the element of earth. So let's bring the soles of our feet together in butterfly Baddha. And again, I invite you to bring some comfort, some warmth to yourself wherever you can. So I'm going to place my feet on the blanket for some extra comfort. As you can see, I'm nicely wrapped up today. I want to try and keep warm. So let's press the big toe here. So we're working with the stomach and spleen meridians in the earth element. The stomach and spleen are for digestion and distribution of energy, however we receive it, whether in the form of food, thoughts, ideas, experiences. So it works on both the physical level as well as the psychological and emotional level. So pressing this big toe, this is where the spleen meridian begins. Now let's go to the second toe and then press that, or rub it, whatever you feel drawn to do, applying some acupressure here. And this is where the stomach meridian ends. And you can always go back to your big toe. And then I invite you to, with your hands, your thumbs on the undersides of your feet and your fingers on the top side of your feet, just massage along your foot. So along the arch of your foot, all the way to the ankle. And then travel along the inside, so along the inside of your shin here. I'm pressing with my thumb all the way along the inside of my calves here. So the spleen runs along the inside. At the same time, I have my 4 fingers on the front of the shin, and the stomach meridian runs along the front of the leg. So I'm massaging both spleen and stomach meridian on my legs. You can travel up and down a few times. And then if you wish, you can go onto your knees, squeeze the top of your thighs. Also maybe run along the inside of your thigh. Just paying your legs and your feet some attention here, traveling up and down. So we normally do body tapping, but today I thought it would be quite pleasant experience to stimulate our meridian by massaging. While we're in butterfly pose. Butterfly pose is a deeply grounding pose. When you feel you've paid enough attention to your legs, let's come into a forward fold here. So lengthen through your crown. As you exhale, reach with your heart forward towards your feet. And when you've gone as far forward as you are happy to go, soften through your head, neck, and shoulders, allowing your spine to gently curve here. I'm interlacing all my fingers between my toes. So I invite you to do that as well. That will give you an extra sense of grounding, but also will stimulate all the meridian points that pass at either start or end at the toes. So we'll be here for 2 minutes in butterfly. The element of earth, Prithvi in Sanskrit, helps us to have a sense of coming home, returning home to ourselves. So as we transition through season to season, or any period of change in our lives, often if we are able to pass through that period by grounding, by centering, by connecting with ourselves, by having the sense that home us, it can give us security during times of change, the stability that might help us ease passage. Mother Earth both nourishes and supports us. Six more breaths here in butterfly. And then on the 6th count, inhale, begin to unfurl your spine to rise up with care and caution, moving slowly as we transition from pose to pose in yin. So you'll recognize that many of the asanas or poses or shapes that we adopt in yin yoga are those that we have in hatha yoga. But we work through them differently. We transition more slowly through them. We're going to move into a deer pose twist here. So taking your left leg, let's bring the left foot towards our left sit bone. And you might want to move your right leg slightly across so that the right heel comes closer to the left knee. So you created this zigzag here. If you have your cushions or large pillows available, on the right side against the right hip, you might want to position your blocks, your bolster, or your large pillows. And I'm going to create a little angle here. So you can always have an angle. If you have a low footstool, you can always place your pillows against the low footstool. We're going to turn our heart over to the right side. You may have a bolster, pillows, as high or as low as you want. And then as you exhale, let's bring the heart to rest on the bolster or pillow. And you can have your right ear resting on your pillow or bolster. If you want to add to this twist, you can turn and have your left ear on your bolster or pillow. So you need to corkscrew, yogi's choice. If you don't have any props available, you can come directly down towards the earth. And rest your eyebrow center on the backs of your hands, perhaps. As you rest here in deer pose, soften and surrender. This softening allows our muscles to relax deeply. And we move beyond the muscular body and into the connective tissues. The practice of yin hydrates, nourishes the connective tissues, the ligaments, the tendons. Three more breaths here in deer pose to the right. Letting your know it's about to move, to transition. You're about to change the pose. Inhaling to rise up from the earth, your bolster or pillows. And then turn to center and exhale over to the left side just for a moment or two. And then back to center. So we're now going to go the other way. So depending on how you are, so for example, I'm going to just set up my bolster here. The least disruptive way to move to the other side here is to turn our back to the bolster or cushions. Take your blanket across and then turn your left hip onto the bolster. This is the least disruptive way to move to the other side. So then have your left shin, I'll turn to face you so you can see, your left shin in front of you, your right heel by your right hip. And again, make sure that you're comfortable here. The more physical comfort you can bring to your practice, the more you will relax and soften in this practice. And again, do use your blanket to place your left shin and foot on a blanket. When you're ready, lengthen and turn your heart over to your bolster. As you exhale, bring your heart to rest on your bolster. Your left ear can be on the bolster or cushion, or you can add another twist by bringing your right ear to the bolster or cushion. And you could also rest with your upper body, your eyebrow center directly on the earth if you don't have props available. Surrender with each out breath, using the breath to soften, to surrender. Feel the earth beneath you. The earth element connects very strongly with this self-care. The care for innate collective care for our community. If you're on a bolster or pillow, release the weight of your upper body into the pillow or bolster. Allow that to wait for you. Relax through your shoulders, your jaw, your cheekbones. Three more breaths here, signaling to your body that you are about to move, to transition, so that your nervous system can adjust gradually to the change. As you inhale, using the earth beneath your hands to support you rise up, exhale to center, and then turn over to the right to counter twist just for a moment. And then let's turn back to center. We're going to move into frog pose, Mandukasana, or Bekasana. So again, I invite you to spread out your blanket on the earth so that when you have your feet, they're on the earth. So let's come onto our shins. Set everything up so that we're comfortable here. Let's start off with wide child's pose first. I'm going to use my bolster today, so if you have your bolster or large pillows available, please make use of those. Big toes to touch. And let's come to child's pose for a moment before we transition into Bakasana. So you can have your left or right ear resting on the bolster. If you place your forearms on the earth, turn your palms up towards the sky. And that will help to ease any tension in your shoulders. And then allow the earth to hold you, to hold the weight of your body. So when you are sleeping and you're deeply relaxed, you are much heavier. So that's the sensation we're trying to create in our body. With each out breath, just release and let go of any tension and soften into the earth. When the stomach meridian is out of balance, it connects to anxiety and worry. It can make us feel needy, clingy, because we're feeling insecure, unstable. By working with the energy of the earth, by working to balance the stomach and spleen meridians, we draw in stability and security so that we are able to let go, to create space for the change, for new beginnings, new seasons, new relationships, new ideas. We welcome those when we are feeling stable and secure. Do switch your head if you have one ear resting on the bolster or the pillow. Three more breaths here. On the inhale, when you rise, press the big toe and the second toe into the earth. Squeeze at your perineum, draw in your navel and then rise up, connecting with this rooting through the earth, through our own physical root. I'm going to move into frog pose, Mandukasana. So again, I invite you to use your pillows or bolsters, so you can place your forearms on your pillows or bolsters or directly on the earth. Rise up with your sit bones and then turn out your toes so that your feet now are parallel with your knees. And if you wish to take them a little bit further, you can open out your legs a little bit further so that you come closer to the earth. If your hands are clasped, that might make you feel more connected with yourself and more supported because you're creating a more stable scaffold for yourself. You can be on your bolster or pillow. Come down towards the earth. And then if you are down towards the earth, you can always rest your eyebrow center on the tops of your hands, with your clasped hands. So you'll be feeling this on the inside of your groin at the hip flexors. You may feel some tension on the insides of your thighs. So here we're working very strongly with the spleen meridian, the front of our shin, around the front of our kneecap. We're working with the stomach meridian. So the stomach is for assimilation, digestion, filtration, elimination. So we absorb all of our experiences, all of the food that we take in. And then we digest and we maintain and take in the nutrients, the nourishment that we need. So in that same way, psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, we maintain and retain that which will serve us and which will nourish us emotionally, cognitively, spiritually. The spleen helps to distribute this energy around the body, these nutrients, this nourishment that we have retained. The spleen synthesizes this energy and helps to guide it where it is most needed. We'll be here for another minute, so perhaps you can draw your knees slightly further apart and come closer to the earth. It may be fractional movement. Ten more breaths here. You may find you've created a little more space. I find that sometimes lying on the pillow or the bolster with my abdomen, my heart is very supportive. On your 10th breath, bring in your big toes to touch, using your hands to support you. Take your sit bones back, walk your hands back towards you, and then bring your knees in a little bit closer, gradually bringing them in. Sitting here in hero's pose. So if this feels really uncomfortable underneath your feet, an option for you is to roll up your blanket. So what you do is you create a little roll at the top of your blanket, just enough so that the inside of your ankles can rest on the rolled up part of your blanket. And this can feel quite supportive. So let's sit here in hero's pose for a moment. We are going to transition into saddle pose. Saddle pose can feel quite intense, so I'll give us some options to think about in saddle pose. So I invite you to have some pillows or bolster behind you, so that when you do sit back, you're not coming all the way to the earth. You can create a support there. If you have a low footstool or low chair, you can always place a large pillow or bolster against the chair so that it's not so angled. So you can have it as upright or as closer to the earth as you wish. We're going to do half saddle pose because that's less intense. So I'm going to bring our sit bones up towards the bolster, so the bolster's there. You can part your legs slightly if you wish, and then reach out with your left leg and have your right leg folded. Now see how that feels. If that feels really uncomfortable to the point where it's causing you pain, if it feels a little challenging, that's okay. But if it feels as if it may be likely to hurt you or become painful, then release your foot from underneath you. And so that you'll turn so you can see me, so that your foot has a little bit more space. So it can be tucked underneath you, or you can have a little bit more space. If that still feels too much for your knee, then you can bring your foot flat onto the earth and then have your foot like this. It's less, you're going to feel it much less here, but you'll still get some of the benefit as you recline. So lowering yourself onto your back. And then what you can do is you can place your hand, if you have your foot on the earth in this variation, and you can simply rub along the top of your leg here, apply some firm pressure. So you could just place your hand there and hold your hand there. So what we're doing is we're stimulating the meridian that's running along the front of the leg, the stomach meridian. So you can have a pillow or create a little cushion for your head if it's on a bolster. You can be as close to the earth with your back or as high up from the earth with your back. So you do not have to recline all the way. You could simply stay sitting up. If it feels too much, recline. So we'll be here on this side for 90 seconds. I'm not going to be here for long because I know this isn't the most comfortable of poses. In your own practice, you can take this for a longer time, but in a mixed class, we'll leave this at 90 seconds. And having your folded foot on a blanket means that sometimes you don't feel when you're directly on the earth or on your mat, it can feel a little hard on your skin. So with our practice, we are creating this connection to the concept of home within ourselves, becoming more embodied. So having a sense of physical connection to our body. So these poses that feel a little more challenging help us to feel our body, feel and connect with it, especially the areas where it feels tension or it feels a challenge. But because we want that sense of home, don't want to move beyond that so it becomes uncomfortable or unsustainable. One more breath here. And now again, drawing in the perineum by squeezing your pelvis, drawing in your navel, tucking your chin to your throat. Let's curl up and release the right foot from underneath us. And then extend our leg long. And perhaps you windshield wiper your feet from one direction to the other. I'm going to go on to the other leg this time. So fold in your left leg. And again, you can bring it, tuck it in as much underneath you as you want, or have it out to the side. You can have lots of space. So you can have it coming out a little bit more to the side. Or you can have your foot on the earth. The yogi's choice. Then your lower back up against your pillows or bolsters and lower down slowly and carefully. And then if your foot is on the earth, let's place the left hand on that left thigh. And perhaps with the heel of that left hand, you can apply some pressure to the front of the thigh. As we work with our meridians and the element of earth, we bring balance. So particularly working with the spleen, we bring in clarity, clear thinking, clarity of vision, insight. And then as we work with the stomach meridian, we bring in a sense of coherence, cohesiveness, a sense of integration, of harmony. So the clear thinking, the clarity of vision helps us to focus on the reason for change, the purpose of change, the purpose behind any sort of transformation. Helps us to maintain our gaze forward. The stomach, this sense of harmony, integration, balance we create through this churning and digestion. Because we let go of baggage, we let go of negative emotions and feelings of doubt, self-doubt, self-criticism, so that we can commit to the change ahead by feeling secure within ourselves, by feeling stable within ourselves. One more breath here in a saddle pose, half saddle pose. And again, let's squeeze in the perineum by squeezing the pelvis, the center of the pelvis, draw in the navel, tuck in the chin, and then lift your head, and then one vertebrae each off the bolster or pillow. Release your left foot, and then windshield wiper your feet one way, then the other. So we're going to move into cat's tail pose. So let's clear our pillows away so we have some space. And let's come down to the earth here. So see how you're feeling with your blanket. You might want to lay it out a little bit more so you're opening up fully. I'm not opening up fully, but you may choose to open up your blanket fully on the earth here. So let's come to lie on our back, bending into your knees, soles of your feet flat on the earth. And take a moment here. And then as we exhale, let's drop our knees over to the left and roll onto our left hip and onto the left side. So we're fully on our left side here. And we can use our left hand to prop our head or prop our head on our left arm here. Now let's take the right leg across our body. Just give myself lots of space so you can see. And then you can either have a bend in that right leg or you can extend the leg so it's stretched out. With your left leg that's underneath you, reach back with your toes so that you bring the heel of that left leg, the left foot, closer towards your sit bones. So you'll be in this sort of zigzag here, and you'll really be feeling this in your lower body. And then let's now bring our right shoulder back towards the earth. So now we've created an opening across the heart. Perhaps you reach for your left foot with your right hand, and I'm going to take hold of my big toe with my peace fingers. This is cat's tail. Or you can stay up, so you can be supporting your head here with your hand. You can stay completely on your left side, or you can roll onto your back. And this left hand can be near your head, arm extended out, or you can reach for your right toe so that you're holding your right toe with your left hand, your left toe with your right hand. If that feels too much of a journey, then simply have your left arm wherever it feels comfortable for you. Roll onto your upper back so that your right shoulder is coming towards the earth. This is a deep twist. As you can see, it's kind of working very much on your lower abdomen here. If you have a bend in your right knee, you might want to place your left hand on the outside edge of your right knee. So remember here, it's not necessary to connect your hands with your feet. Simply reach for your left toes with your right arm, right hand. So this is called cat's tail. As we know, cats tend to be very flexible, and we may be less flexible. So recognizing that we're not going to be always able to reach parts of our body. We reach for wherever we can. This is the part about coming into yourself, coming into the sense of home. And feeling secure with yourself wherever you are at within your practice. The reason we work with these meridians to connect with the element, earth element, is that we kind of follow our gut feelings, the instinct. You know, when we talk about gut feelings, or when we have butterflies in our stomach, it lets us know how we're feeling. It's working at a very instinctive level. So we tune into those feelings, those gut feelings we have, which are helping to guide us. And through the digestion process, we are kind of working on shifting old energy we have so that we can create space for new possibilities. In many ways, we are letting go of ideas, thoughts, feelings that do not nourish us in any way or have stopped nourishing us. We've taken out all of the nutrients, all of the nourishment that we could need from those ideas, those thoughts, those words, those actions. In much the same way that you pull out weeds from your garden, you clear the bed so that you can allow for new growth. Your yin practice is tending to the garden of your physical self, emotional, spiritual self. One more breath here. So release your toes if you're holding onto your toes. And then begin to roll onto your back and bring your knees up And let's windshield wiper the knees one way, then the other, before we move into the other direction. So you might need to create a bit of space on your mat by shuffling over to one side. Lying on your back, feet flat on the earth, knees are bent. As you exhale, let's drop the knees over to the right and roll over onto the right hip and the right side. And again, you can use your right hand to prop up your head, or you can rest on the right bicep. Let's begin to take the right leg behind us so we can bring that heel up towards us and cross the left leg over the top. Now you can have a bend in that left leg. I'll turn and face you so you can see me. And then you can reach back for that right foot with your left hand, those peace fingers and thumb wrapped around the big toe. You can stay here with the knees bent. This is one variation. Or you can release your head and begin to bring your left shoulder down towards the earth. So now you're rolling off the right side and coming off the right hip. The left leg can stay bent. You can place your right hand on the outside of your right left knee, or you can extend that leg and take hold of your big toes with your right peace fingers and thumb. So yogi's choice here. This is a challenging pose, so come into the variation that feels most comfortable. You may be here with a gentle twist. Your hands can be on your hip. And rest your right ear on your right bicep. Yogi's choice. We'll be here for one more minute. So making sure you are in your comfortable variation. With your next breath, releasing your toes if you're holding your toes. Releasing your toes and then rolling onto your back. Bring your knees to the center. feet flat on the earth, and let's windshield wiper your knees one way then the other. Piero thinks it's playtime, sorry. And then when you're ready, let's open out our arms, extend our legs, coming into Shavasana. Covering yourself with a blanket, using your eye pillow if you have one available. And rest here in Shavasana. With each out breath, soften through your body. With each in breath, invite in a sense of coming home to yourself. Coming home to yourself. Coming home to yourself. With each out breath, release into the earth. Surrender to the earth. Allow yourself to be supported by the earth. Toes softening, feet softening, ankles softening, lower legs, knees, upper legs softening, hips, pelvis softening, lower back, middle back, upper back softening, abdomen, chest, shoulders softening, arms, upper, elbows, lower arms softening, wrists, hands, fingers softening, neck, jaw, cheekbones, brow, the top of the crown, the back of the head, softening, surrender. Allow the earth to hold you, to support you, knowing that she is always here for us, honoring and showing gratitude to the earth. And as we move through change, as we move from one season to the next, as we arrive upon endings, embark on beginnings, know that the earth holds you secure, stable, and safe. And that is always within you. The connection between you and the earth is strong. You are rooted in this earth. Rest here in Shavasana for 5 minutes. I will close our practice for us. And when it is time, you're ready to rise. Closing your practice by chanting Om Shanti softly to yourself. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Dhanyavad, yogis. May you rest here, fully integrated, in harmony, in balance